In the early days, I described optometry as a profession and a business that you could not mess up if you tried. Obviously, things have changed.
Optometry is definitely becoming a lot more difficult than it was 30, 40 years ago.
Especially with the insurance carriers, the growth of electronic medical records.
You not only take care of your patients, but you have to worry about all the other facets of your practice from day to day, and you just want to be an eye doctor.
It's a very tough business, a very competitive business. Only the strong survive.
We had a very successful eye care operation.
We got to a certain point to where we weren't big enough in order to take it to the next level.
And I know that if we couldn't do it with over 20 practices, the independent practitioner with 1, 2, 3 practices, they probably even have less capability. To be competitive, you need all the ammunition that you can bring to bear. And Eye Care Partners gives you that ammunition that you need to compete in the marketplace.
Eye Care Partners was formed to help grow the medically based model. We're a doctor-driven company. Doctors report to doctors. We don't have a suit telling the doctors how to practice. That's not who we are at all, never have been.
Let's face it, all optometrists are not created equal. You do not give the same eye exam in your office that a patient receives at a big box location. Eye Care Partners focuses on the patient, not on the product.
We are a medical model group. We have integrated ophthalmology both on retina and secondary care like cataracts, LASIK surgery. We practice the full scope of our licensure. So we're looking for practices that are doing the same thing. We want practices that practice the medical model.
Joining Eye Care Partners will allow your practice to really expand and see more patients, really to continue on serving your community the best way that you could.
The biggest benefit is allowing the doctors to focus on the patients and patient care by alleviating them of the hassles and the stresses of the day-to-day running a practice.
What the consolidation process does is it allows and brings many additional tools that there's no way that they can afford.
Culture is extremely important, and other groups we looked at just didn't share our philosophy. They didn't share our culture. They were much more interested in selling eyeglasses than they were delivering medical eye care. You don't want to leave your practice in the hands of somebody who's going to destroy it.
What is different about Eye Care Partners is that you will be left to practice the way that you want to practice.
We're not going to come in and turn your practice upside down. We're here to enhance the way you practice. If there's equipment that is needed, if there are things to get you to the next level, that's what we're looking to do.
In today's practice environment, it is very difficult to keep up
with HR, with finance, with marketing.
With the resources that we have with Eye Care Partners, that will help make your practice easier to run and more profitable for you.
They have specialists in all these areas that you have access to, that you can work with, that you can count on to help augment your practice.
All the things that keep you up at night, those are the kind of things we could take off your plate.
You can be a doctor of optometry and practice the profession you love. Let other people handle the headaches.
We really could not find a software that was able to keep patient flow, make it easy for the doctors to learn, and was able to handle multiple practice locations.
So we took it upon ourselves to write that program.
Eye Care 360 is fully certified. It is up to date with all the meaningful use requirements.
One of the biggest benefits of Eye Care 360 is our ability to track all kinds of information. We are very data rich, from patient check-in to pre-authorizations to knowing what the benefits are on each and every patient has not only streamlined the process from start to finish, but also in the exam lane as well. Our iCare 360 has every insurance plan loaded into it. Every form of VSP, every form of Spectera, Davis, iMed, all the various plans. So we know exactly what every patient that calls in, what their eligibility is, from a frame allowance to contact lens allowance to the exam allowance. Everything that we need to do and all the reporting that we need to do for the government is built into our EMR system. So it's, the docs are a click away from making sure they're hitting the PQRS, the meaningful use, all the things that we have to report. We make it as simple as we can for the doctors to hit all those requirements.
What that means to you as a practitioner is that you can focus on patient care. It's very easy to learn. It is constantly being designed and improved by the doctors who use the software to continue to make it better and easier to use over time and add in more functionality as we go.
I can guarantee you, it's going to allow you to take better care of your patients than any software you're using today.
It's very robust, it's very user-friendly. But having said that, we do have teams on site to help with the integration of the software.
With the transition, as your practice goes through this, joining iCare Partners, there can be anxiety with your staff and even the doctors in your practice. Change can be hard. So with the growth and integration team, they are trained to be right there with your staff, right there with your doctors, and helping them transition along, embracing the software, learning it, and really incorporating the iCare Partners model going forward.
That's not the end of the process.
From the day the gig team leaves the office, when everything is up and running, we do have full-time help desk that will be there to answer any questions that any office member may have. The help desk are staffed with folks that have been in our offices and have been with patients. They're very well versed on the software. They know what you're going through when you're in an office with a patient.
Real people with real knowledge answer real phones and give real answers.
Whenever you're open, they're there. You can call them up. They'll work you through problems. They'll answer your questions. And it's good not to be alone.
I think the consolidation of our industry was imminent.
That has been the trend in other healthcare industries, and we're seeing it now in optometry.
This consolidation process is just beginning. It's just very difficult today to be an independent anything.
The landscape of young optometrist has changed. Coming out of school with hundreds of thousands of dollars sometimes in debt, it's difficult to get financing.
There's just so many things that we have to deal with today that make things very, very complex.
There are big box stores now that there's a lot of competition, and even the internet now is competition for young doctors. So it is difficult for them to get a footing and establish a private practice.
Everybody these days seems to be asking doctors, what's your exit strategy?
The typical OD, they have no exit strategy. They are prime for this type of structure.
No matter where you are in your practice, you have to be thinking ahead as far as what's going to happen after you are done practicing. If you are thinking about selling your practice, and there are choices out there, iCare Partners has the doctor's interest in the forefront, and we will do the best at keeping your practice running as you would like it run going forward.
I've been in your shoes. This is a good time to make a decision. And I can honestly say, never once have I doubted our decision.
The train has left, and you can get on that train at a lot of different points. But from every perspective that I can think of, it's better to be on the train early rather than late.
Probably the best decision I ever made.